Hey folks, Mark here from Mark's O-Scale Trains. I wanted to do a quick video today on these DZ-1065 target signals. These are from Z-Stuff for Trains. I had purchased these recently. I've been meaning to get a couple of these for the layout. I found that they were available and I went ahead and I ordered a couple of them. So I've got a couple of these here on the layout, and what I wanted to talk about today quickly is how I wired these into the layout using an isolated rail. Now the reason I use the isolated rail method of hooking these signals up, I use that because I wanted to get as prototypical operation out of these signals as I possibly could. Now Z-Stuff for Trains makes it very easy to use these signals. They have an infrared sensor that I have currently covered up with tape right here. They have an infrared signal on there that allows the train to be detected when it passes by. So in a sense, all you really need to do is set this signal by your layout, hook the red to the red wire and your common to common, and when a train rolls by, it's going to detect it and go from green to red, and then once the train leaves, it'll go to yellow and then back to green. Now I didn't want to do this, and the reason why I didn't want to use the sensor is because if you have a slow moving train or even a train stopped up ahead, what happens is once it passes the signal, the signal will then go to yellow and then to green, and really 6 inches or a foot ahead that there could be a train sitting on the rails. So what I'm doing is in this section here, there's going to be a tunnel and a mountain, and I've got two signals. There's the second signal there, and the first one's over here. So I ended up isolating the inside rail by making a cut right there, and then I did a cut over here, and that's basically isolating that inside rail and allowing me to create almost like a track block is basically what I call it. And it allows me to then solder a wire from the signal onto that rail so that any time a train passes by that point, you'll see it turned red. And it's going to stay red as long as there's a train on that track, whether it's inside the tunnel, whether it's over on this side. It's going to stay red until the train leaves the block. So once it leaves the block, you'll see it goes to yellow, and then it'll go back to green. So what I'll end up doing is where I've made these cuts here on the track, I'll end up filling those with hot glue. I'll trim them up, and then I'll paint them the color of the track that I've already got painted down there, and it'll be tough to see that. You really won't be able to see that, and it'll look as good. You really have to look for it to see it. But when you're isolating a rail this way, and I'm hooking the input wire from underneath the signal to that portion of the track, it allows me to get a little more prototypical operation out of it. And again, on the other signal over here, I'll roll the train. You'll see this one, I'll roll it onto the block, and you'll see this signal will change as well. And it goes to red. So now both signals are red, signifying that there's a train in this particular block of track. And then when it leaves that track, or that block, it'll go back to the yellow, and then it'll go to green. Now underneath the table here is the signal wires. We have, up here we've got the common and the power. We've got the yellow wire, which is soldered to that isolated rail, and then I've got nothing on this output here. You can daisy chain some of these signals, but I left that open, and I've got both of my signals soldered to the isolated rail. So it's really pretty simple stuff. It just requires 12 to 18 volts of AC or DC power to run these signals. Again, if you don't want to isolate a rail and you just want to set these next to your layout, they'll work just fine. But for a little more prototypical operation, you can isolate that rail, and again, it'll hold that signal red until the train actually leaves the block. I'll roll another one on there. It's going to go to red, and it'll stay there until it leaves that block. But I just wanted to do this quick video on the DZ-1065. Most of their signals are going to work the same way, require the same voltage. But I hope this video was helpful. Maybe you guys will add a couple of these to your layout. But that's it for now, and we'll see you next time.